That wasn't it.
Hey guys, so I have one last question before I let you guys go back to your friend's day. What's your favorite podcast? That stupid dating show. You heard it here.
I mean, sorry, I kind of forgot what you asked me. I get a little passionate and then I kind of zone out.
Welcome back to That Stupid Dating Show. My name's Rane.
And I'm Eric.
And
I'm Amanda.
What's going on, guys?
What is going... Amanda! What's going on, Amanda? And Eric?
Amanda.
Well, we just dodged a huge storm.
We dodged a huge storm, and the mower guy is back out there again.
We should just interview him next time.
We really should.
Just be like, hey,
We
man,
should
since
ask
you
him.
keep interrupting our podcasting.
Hey, guy, bring your mower in here.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be like an insane like
I could see it happening.
episode?
He just drives in his mower, knocking walls and shit.
Yeah, but then he also has
Yep.
like intense stories that we're just like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, we'd be... yeah, that would be the
Whoa.
one guy.
Yeah, that'd be like the one guy. It's like, wow.
That'd be the one guy like, damn, son.
Yeah.
And I think he's only like 21 years old.
Oh, he's got some stories though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's living
Yeah,
his
he's
stories
got
right now.
So,
Yeah, he is.
is it raining in Georgia?
I wish it would.
Yeah,
It keeps saying it's going to.
We just got some pretty brutal storms through here. I was just at the bar and the power went out. That was fun. That's the second time this year that's happened to me.
I saw the picture was really cool though.
Yeah, it was
I have
cool.
to say the picture looked
Yeah.
really cool.
It was fun
No,
sitting in
we
there.
can't. We still have like hot, muggy, sticky. Like it's going to rain, and then nothing. And I'm like, okay, we'll just rain already and get it over with.
Yeah. We, on the way here, I ran into a lot of traffic because of a fatal accident because of the storm. So,
Fatal.
yeah, it was fatal.
Oh no, that's awful.
Yeah. But anyways, so we're doing another episode of Us Three.
Yeah.
What do we got going on today?
So Amanda and I had talked earlier about accountability within your past relationship and moving on to your next relationship. Take it, Amanda.
Okay, well, I was thinking about it because my oldest, he had posted on Facebook about how girls will be like, oh, my last boyfriend, was a piece of crap, and the one before that was abusive, and have all these stories, but like she's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like she never did anything wrong. And it also got me thinking about a conversation I had with my dad like a month ago, where him and my mom were married for 30 years. They shouldn't have been.
That's a long time.
It is a long time, and they should not have been married nearly that long. And it got very aggressive and verbal and abusive and stuff for many years. And he asked me if I thought he was a shitty husband. And I told him that I did. I did think at the time he was a shitty husband, but I also thought my mom was a shitty wife. Right? And I was talking to him about it, and I was thinking, I was like, I feel like some people, when a relationship ends, they miss the step of looking inward and trying to learn from like their mistakes or what like they could have prevented or what they, take accountability for their actions as well as the other person's. And then they take that into the next relationship because they don't think that they did anything wrong or they were the bad one, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and they just keep taking it into the next ones and potentially poisoning any other relationship they have.
They already self-sabotage themselves by doing that.
I truly can't think of many people, including myself, that take accountability 100% of the time or even half the time. Like we all have our stance, and if something happens, like, well, I was here and I was there, like it's
Yeah, I think it comes down to depending on how hurt that person got, it's like they start projecting that onto the next guy. So the first time that he shows any type of shadiness or shows any sort of distrust. It's like, nope, you are a liar. I'm done with you. And it's like, well, can you just hear the story out? This is what happened.
Right.
But by that time, and I find this more common in women than men.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
And it's just this complete projection where once their mind's made up on what you did, there's no point in trying to explain yourself any further, because they've already got it. Yep, they've already made that decision. And what's more common in women than in men is when their decision's made, it is made. We're men, we can kind of be persuaded, I think, by women a little bit more.
We tend to bounce back and forth.
Right. Like, it's a little bit easier. Like, even if you did it to me, Rane, like, I could be like, oh, that makes sense. Because I do think that making that decision is more of an emotional reaction, where men do think a little bit more logical. So when we hear the story, it's like, okay, I'm taking these emotions out of it. I'm going to just listen to this story. That logically makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go about our business. And I think that goes back to our last episode that we did together that just dropped today. It goes into the, oh boy, what does it go into? I just had it on my tongue and then I forgot. The holding the grudges type thing.
Yes.
So when one woman holds a grudge to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or as many men as it takes, the next guy that comes in is already dead on arrival.
Yeah, he doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, he doesn't stand a chance.
Right.
And if they're not, my episode where I got vulnerable, my whole point was to go to therapy. If you're not in therapy, for something like that, I think that you're doomed, honestly. And I could be wrong, but therapy helps with that because you have a non-biased approach.
Where do you think that stems from, though? Like somebody who can't let something go, or who just continues to just keep projecting the last one on the next one?
I think fear of abandonment a lot. I think it also comes from just a childhood of not being heard, not being able to have your emotions validated. It's like, suck it up, buttercup. Well, you're still holding that stuff in as a child, and now as an adult, you're a child inside. Yeah, you're emotionally a child instead of an adult, where you could regulate your emotions a lot better.
I had a friend tell me one time, and I was probably 20, 21 at the time, and she was 40, 41, something like that. And she told me, the age that you are now is the age that you will always feel inside. Meaning, like,
explain that.
You sort of always feel like that younger version of yourself inside.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
No matter how old you get, you're still the child inside.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and, especially the millennial generation, they're kind of we're kind of known for that now, right? Like, we're the toy generation. We're the, that kind of generation where it's like we still try to hold on to, like, just a little bit of happiness, right?
Yeah, not much of that left.
We don't have that much.
If happiness even exists.
right. Like, just that little glimmer of hope that maybe, like, oh, this makes me smile a little,
That's called nostalgia.
Yeah.
And really, it's like a 2000s boy band song. In sync, I love it.
Tell me why
it's gonna be me.
Like, oh, this takes me back to before bills and bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we can thank our Gen X parents for that too, for making us drink out the fucking water hose.
You know what I always love is like
good water.
What is the generation before millennials?
Baby. Oh no, it's Gen X, and then
Gen X.
The baby boomers,
and then boomers. Yeah,
like, I always thought it was funny. Like, the Gen X or the boomers are always bitching about the millennials, but they're the ones that raised the fucking millennials.
I mean,
like,
and then
you guys
now
fucking raised us.
But then now you got the Gen Z, and then I don't even know what generation my daughter is.
Them damn millennials, they don't know a damn thing. It's because you didn't teach us a fucking thing.
Yeah, and then so my son's generation, and then my daughter's generation. I mean, they're just gonna blame us for everything. It's just like
they already do.
They blame us, and then and then I blame them for having like shit language, but then I don't correct it because I'm trying to learn it.
Right?
Like, I'm not a bra. Like, bruh. And then my daughter, she'll like start every conversation with me that she has to like gossip. She'll be like, "Girl, listen." I'm just like,
She says that to you,
girl. Let me tell you
my
what
God.
happened. And I'm just
Have
like,
you gotten a yes queen?
Tell me you don't
Oh.
reply like, yeah. Well, like, I don't even know how to do it. You're
I
the
look
gay
at-
one. Tell me.
I'll be like, "Oh, girl, tell me."
Tell me, girl.
Yeah, no, yeah. So she does. She goes like, "Yes, queen," and then she'll snap.
Oh,
Because
damn.
she's this little redhead firecracker who
Just
is
a firecracker.
Of course.
oh man, the sass on her yeah, it's something.
Those redheads usually are sassy. And it only
they're
gets worse
soulless.
from here.
I mean, they're soulless. They can't even
Yeah.
ride the soul train.
No, they can't.
That was a good one.
It was. It was, yeah.
Yeah. So
Here you go.
thank you. That was a good one.
Yeah.
So, all
everybody
right.
laughed.
So accountability.
Gratification.
So let me ask you this: why do you think,
Yeah.
Amanda, that accountability is so hard for both genders?
Well, it's being honest with yourself, right? Like it's taking yourself out of the situation, the story, the relationship, right? Because the villain in the story and the hero of the story is based on the writer's perception, right? Like who they perceive is the villain or the hero, right? And I think a lot of times we want to perceive ourselves as the hero and the other person as the villain. And really sometimes both are both, right? Like sometimes, as a woman, I can get a little cray-cray. I try to keep it under wraps, right? A little cray-cray. But I know that I know that I can do that, and I know that can spawn certain reactions, right, from whom I'm with.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to recognize that, right? Or looking back on, a past relationship, I can be like, okay, this is why it ended. Where did I contribute? Where could I improve myself, right? And what can I do moving forward to make my next relationship more successful instead of living, right? It's easier to just live in that past and be like, oh, well, he did this and he did that. And he's, and blame everything on your partner when at the same time it takes two. It takes two to make a shitty relationship.
Yeah.
It's not always one-sided.
Also takes two to
Right.
tango.
It does. So, I just think it's not wanting to just be honest with ourselves, and it's okay, right? Because I told my dad when we were talking out, his stuff, I was like, I feel like you don't want to take accountability for your part of it because in your mind, you're afraid it lessens, right, mom's accountability, but it doesn't, right? You taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, and being like, okay, I became too sarcastic. My reactions weren't great, right? Maybe we shouldn't have thrown knives at each other in front of our children.
Yeah.
Those things,
Yeah, that's all right.
taking those things
Kids
and
need
being
to
like,
see that
okay, right. You learn how to duck, dodge, weave,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But,
Special Japanese moves.
If you could dodge a
Exactly.
knife, you could dodge a ball.
There you go.
You can. But I think we're afraid that it lessens the other person if we take blame for any part of the fail.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. So then let me ask you this question. Why is it in a culture that we're in today of the blame game, let's post it on social media. Do you see one gender being more, I guess, not taking accountability than the other?
Oh, chicks all the way. I always used to laugh, right? Okay, I'll give you guys a perfect example. I used to laugh at my friends because while they were in a relationship, all you would hear was, oh man, his dick's so big. Oh, sex is so great. Oh, this is so awesome. Blah, 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 right? Fast forward to breakup. Oh, he had the smallest dick ever.
Yeah.
Oh, he couldn't even find my G-spot. I couldn't even get wet. Like, and it just completely flips all because you break up, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you flip the script?
I love when
Why
women.
when-
I love when
3
women.
weeks ago he was the best, and now he was like the worst.
Right. I love when women are like, he couldn't find the G spot. It's like you didn't fucking show him. Like you didn't.
Right.
You didn't communicate.
But then on their dating profile, their number one thing they look for is communication.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it is. But I used to laugh all the time, and hearing it, I kind of made a mental note for myself. So when I did break up, I didn't let myself go there, right? Because it's easy, right? It's so much easier to talk shit about somebody who can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if they're not in the room, yeah, it's so much easier to be like, oh my God, he was such a piece of shit. Or, oh my God, she's a crazy fucking bitch, blah, 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 blah. But none of that stands water if you didn't do your part, right? Or you don't take responsibility for your actions as well as theirs.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So why do you think though that it is more of the female gender that is projecting this or not taking accountability than men? Is it because, like, for me, in my opinion, it's because men just don't care. Like, we know that shit's gonna happen and we're gonna move on. I think nowadays the millennial men are just very resilient. We're kind of used to the shittiness of what kind of happens and what we're kind of told. We just watch what happens and be like, well, knew that was coming.
I was gonna say, like, a man is more likely to just leave everything behind and be like, I don't need it, I'll start over.
Yeah, I mean, I did it in my divorce.
I've done it several times.
Yeah, where you just like, oh well, here I go. So it's like whenever there is,
I don't need
like,
that shit anymore.
So like whenever there is like a breakup text or a I'm no longer interested thing, like I just am like, well, okay.
Right. No, I think women, I think it's just so in our DNA, right? But women need validation from other females. They need the attention, they need the validation, right? They need to be told by another female that they were right. And I don't know where that stems from, because I feel like it's just deep down, generation after generation after generation. Because I was talking to one of my friends, and she had just broken up with her boyfriend, and I was like, oh, are you okay? Do you need anything? What's going on? And she just kept coming up with reason after reason after reason. And they weren't bad reasons, but she just kept trying to come up with reasons of why they didn't work out. And I looked at her and I was like, baby doll, it's okay. Like, there doesn't have to be a reason, right? Sometimes you just don't mesh. It's not your fault. It's not his fault. Like, that's okay. Like, you don't have to validate why you broke up and make it justified. Like, it's cool. And she just looked at me so funny. It was like, I don't, right? Like, I think that it's in us to have reasons for our decisions, right? Like, why we did certain things a certain way or why we reacted a certain way. So it's just unfortunately, it's just a natural reaction afterwards. But I think if we realize that and we recognize that in ourselves, we can kind of take it back a little bit.
Yeah. This next question might be hard for you to answer because you are self-aware on this. But how many dates or failed relationships do you think it would take for someone to be like, maybe it's not the men that I date. Maybe it's something that I'm doing.
I think it's not
a million.
Necessarily.
That's why I said it's a hard question, because she's self-aware, and I don't think there's a right answer.
I don't think it's possible.
I don't think it's necessarily a number of failed relationships. I think the number would be the age, right? Because